Hey everybody, this is Perch. And over the last few days, there's been a decent amount of talk about comic books, but it's all the wrong kind of talk. At least, it's the wrong kind of talk if you're somebody who's interested in reading good comics. The dominating conversation has been this Joker pregnancy story, which got a lift from Fox News and irritated me thoroughly, mostly because it wasn't right. And I know, it's very 2018 to complain about media accuracy, but I think regardless of whether I agree with the overall point or whether I think the story was stupid, it was stupid. I think the story should still be correct. I think you should strive to make them right. I pointed out that they misrepresented the type of story it was. It was a backup story. That does matter. I understand the Fox News person writing it probably wasn't a comic fan, and that's fine. But still, that's a detail that pretty much matters, especially when the crux of your story is that the Joker in continuity now has had a baby. I mean, there was a big argument going on in the comments of the video where he talked about this, that whether he was actually pregnant or not. I still maintain that's not a pregnancy, but I'm crazy. I think that you have to be a biological woman to have a baby. It's my perspective. So, you could say, well, for all intents and purposes, it was a pregnancy. Yeah, but his belly was extended for a couple hours and then he vomited up mud. That immediately changed form and started running around. That's not a pregnancy. I understand the points people were trying to make, but I don't know. Call me a purist. I think you need to be a woman to have a baby. That's just me. Regardless of all that, they got the artist wrong. It got a bunch of things wrong. And a couple of people kind of came in there to say, yeah, but what does it matter in the grand scheme of things? The overall point was, and yeah, but except I expect you to be right. If you're news, if you're calling yourself news, I do expect you to get the details right. I think that's a bar you should have to go over. Anyway, the point in all this that makes me sad, and I think that I think most of the people listening to this right now probably agree, no matter where you are in the general feeling of how comics are at, it's not healthy when the dominating conversation has nothing to do with the actual comic itself. In almost all of the commentary over the Joker pregnancy backup story, no one stopped to ask, hey, is that comic any good? That's really not. I'm sorry, and I'm not talking about just the backup story, the main story. Main story had Joker kind of making fun of a cancer victim. I mean, it's not a good comic. And that's kind of the problem. In a different video, I talked about, who's the next comic writer villain going to be in 2023. And I made the point, and I think some people, even though I telegraphed at the beginning, I think some people missed it. There's no buzz. There's no buzz about much of anything. Look, we just finished two big events at Marvel and DC. Avengers X-Men Eternals was billed as a huge things will never be the same again event. In fact, in the solicitations, Marvel even put, a lot of times we say nothing will ever be the same again, but this time we really mean it. Nothing will ever be the same. Oh, what was that exactly? The Eternals have a slightly new status quo? The X-Men were back to normal immediately. The Avengers still hanging out in their mountain. Jason Aaron never touched upon a single part of the AXE event in his broader storyline. So who cares? DC just finished Dark Crisis. Josh Williamson, who I like. I think, he put in a very nice Flash run that I really enjoyed some time ago. He did this big event, and is anybody talking about it at all? In this event, we were kind of promised that we'd see a major new turning point, status quo change for Nightwing. Did we? I mean, not really. Nightwing helped save the day, but Nightwing has saved the day lots of times. The big kind of moment that comes out of this is the promise of another event in the future starring Amanda Waller. Thanks for that, by the way, DC. And this kind of vague sense that, well, let's not put a Justice League together right away. The Titans will have to be the team that everybody cares about. Okay, so I see Bleeding Cool and CBR and others writing articles saying the Titans are about to get a big lift. But did they? Is anybody running to the store to buy the new Titans issue? Did the Titans comic get a brand new creative team that is top-notch, kind of their best foot forward? Did they convince Greg Capullo to come back and do work for DC after all and do the art duties for a Titans comic? Is Jeff Johns writing it? I mean, who's a big writer they have now? Did Scott Snyder come back to start writing this? No, none of this. And that's the problem with comics. There is no buzz. There's no buzz about much of anything. Very, very few books are getting attention. You get little blips here and there. You get people saying things like, hey, I think that that Moon Knight series by Jed MacKay is pretty good. I'm enjoying it. You get people like me saying, I like that Namor Conquered Shores book. It's 5 issues. But by and large, over in X-Force, you got the Beast who is operating on people, gone super villain, gone dark beast. Nobody's really talking about it. Even the channels devoted to talking about these books, like the X-Men channel, they're wanting to know, hey, how's Teenie Howard feeling? The actual storylines in the books are very secondary. There are comics that are good out there. I'm going to do a video here pretty quickly about Geiger and the that universe. I think that's I run hot and cold on Jeff Johns. I like some things he does. I don't like some things he does. I'm not a Jeff Johns fanboy, but I have enjoyed things Jeff Johns has written. I'm enjoying the Geiger and Junkyard Joe comic quite a bit. It's just fun. It's a fun comic. Junkyard Joe, starting out slow, but it's good. It's it's enjoyable reading. I like seeing the two of him and his art partner together. I think they're putting in a good book, and I enjoy it. But even that book, nobody's really talking about it. Saga came back after a 3-year hiatus. This was a huge indie book. Nothing. Kind of gone are the days when people would really talk about a comic and talk about, can you believe the big events that happened in this one? I can't believe it. And maybe that's something I can do here on this channel. I'll read through the comics on Wednesday and I'll go, can you believe these cliffhangers? This is what's going on, and we'll give it a try. I have a feeling several of you are going to be buzzkill people in the comments of like, I don't care, Perch. I listened to the entire thing to say I don't care. Thanks for that. But in all fairness, shouldn't there be buzz about any of this stuff? I mean, and look, even the crowdfunded books, there's buzz about the money that gets raised. There's buzz about the indie drama that's going on. This person dislikes this person. I mean, half the time names pop up I've never heard of before in my life. I guess they're relevant to some kind of online feud, but nobody's talking about the inside of the book. Nobody. And that should worry everyone. Where's the hefty debate of where the storylines can go, of what's happening here or there, whether you're one of the big two, an indie book, crowdfunded book, any of that. That is one of the differences that manga has going for it. People do sit around and speculate about where even pretty obscure manga is going. There's this manga, Alice in Borderland, that's been adapted by Netflix. And it's, it's like 75% accurate. Maybe that's being generous, but it's sort of like the manga. It's mostly. And what's happened is you got a bunch of American audiences now trying to find out what's going on. You can go on Google, you can go on message boards, and people are trying to get the translations, particularly for the sequels to that Alice in Borderland series, and say, what happened? What happened in the story? I'm really interested to know where it goes. That's what American comics needs. And as long as it's missing that, particularly for, serial storytelling, it's a major problem. It's regardless of any of the rest, apathy or the dramatic elements. And look, I'll throw one thing out there that a lot of people tell me I should admit. And it's not that I don't agree. I'm about to tell you I do agree. It's just I don't find it terribly compelling of a thing to talk about. But I will say, yeah, I think the publishers go for stunts. I think some of the creators go for stunt moments. It's like that video I made about meme moments in comics. I do think people are going for that one panel meme, one joke in a book. I think it's detrimental. It's not leading to stories and arcs people want to talk about. And it's bleeding into everything. We have to get that back. If we can't get that back, I think it hurts the overall medium. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, thanks for listening.